Most definitely. Like you said, I have a certain confidence in myself. I truly, honestly feel like I could do that. I could step up to the challenge. Is that a big challenge? Yes, for anybody that's in this league. But like I said, I've been working on everything this summer. I've been grinding, been getting to it. So yeah, I would like to say I could. Yeah, the thing I say I worked on the most was really my passing, my playmaking ability. You know, being able to find guys on the offensive end instead of just scoring the basketball, but being able to set teammates up and stuff like that. Grinding all summer on all aspects of my game, day in and day out. I was mostly here in Portland the whole summer, just working out, me, Anthony, a couple of young guys. So. And his ability to shoot the basketball. He's a great shooter. He can score the ball. He's quick. He's fast. He's a great player. You know, we push each other a lot this summer, and I truly feel like we both got better this summer.
What are your personal goals for this season?
Do anything I can to help this team, whether that's playing a little bit, playing a lot, getting water, cheering teammates on, anything. I'm for it all. Right on. Appreciate y'all.
Going to be very bothered.
Okay, questions from the
Hello, people.
How's your mindset going into the season?
Fresh. I'm excited. Ready for this. Ready for the season, man. I mean, that's all a part of it. I think on one side, we're not coming into this season saying, "Oh, we made it to the Western Conference Finals last year, so that's automatically gonna happen." We got a completely different team, a lot of building to be done. But this year, we coming in. Our focus is to win a championship. You know, I think our mentality has to shift to that. So, what the experts' percentages of us making the playoffs, I mean, that's, I would say, the least of our concern. You know what they're saying about what our team is going to do.
Feel like the camaraderie and chemistry with you guys already kind of, can you feel that starting to go already?
Yeah, I feel like it's coming together naturally. Being together for some weeks now and playing pickup, it's just been cool. I think the environment that we've created over the years, guys come in and it's easy to get comfortable with. And I think that's what's happening. Everybody's kind of just comfortable with the way things go at our facility and, just around our team. And it's the same. It's funny because I feel like we just doing it all over again. A bunch of new players. Now we sitting in the locker room for hours after we get done. Like, we play pickup, we work out together, sitting around in the training room, sitting around in the locker room, and it's like that getting to know you just beyond the surface type stuff. And going through that again. So, I think these are important times for us as a group, and looking forward to continuing to build that. I think just what he does naturally is it's just different. A guy to be that long, a natural just shot blocker, presence in the paint. You get in the paint and he's covering up the rim. Like, you can't see the rim around him. The kind of shots that he blocks, he blocking floaters up at the top, just that type of stuff is, a true paint presence on that end, a game changer in that way. I think that was when we did that, like, years back. We were much younger and much more inexperienced. And I think with this group now, even though we have such a new team, a lot of guys have been in the league and have experience with good and bad, been on good teams and bad teams. So I think for us it's going to be more of us communicating with each other, how our communication is and understanding each other and helping each other. I think it'll be more of that and watching film and going over situations on the court than it will be going, on a trip or anything like that. I think it was important for us to get here, get together, and, start getting the ball rolling. I would say, like, one person, if I had to say one person, I would say Kent Bazemore. Just, you can just see that it's fresh. He feels like a fresh start. And he's excited to be here, just watching him. We were partners at Rookie Transition, so I've known him a long time. He lived in the Bay Area, so we've been around each other. We've known each other pretty well. But the last few weeks, his playmaking, his defense, he's been matching up against me every opportunity he could get. His ability to shoot the ball, his understanding, it's like just a vet out there. He's understands things just easy, making shots, making plays, like I said, defending, just affecting the games. In our pickup games, he's having an impact on it, and it's not loud, it's not extra. It's just like you can tell he's going to be very present for our team. Yeah. Yeah, I think this year more than any other year we'll be playing at a faster pace, just more possessions, and I think it'll be that way because of our wings. Mario is a fast-paced player, pushing the ball in transition, pass ahead. He likes getting the ball passed to him ahead and getting downhill. He really is a really good playmaker in transition. And he can score in the paint. He can shoot the ball, and the same thing with Kent and Hoodie. So I think with those three at the wing, it presents a different style for our team. Whereas in the past we didn't have these type of wings that were like score playmakers in the way that these guys are. So even when we don't have the ball, like I play without the ball a lot more than usual these last few weeks because those guys getting the ball and just taking off. and I'm catching and shooting the ball instead of making something happen and playing against, a crowd and stuff. So I would love it if we can continue that into real games, because I was just like sprint up the sideline, the defense pull over, and they throwing me the ball, and I'm catching and shooting. So I could definitely see us playing a faster pace.
You guys have done a lot. We always know your guys' offense is going to be fine. What have you seen out of the potential for this team?
I think we could be really good defensively as well. For those same reasons, I thought we improved a lot last year defensively. I think having Hassan in the middle of the paint defensively is going to be a bigger difference than y'all might realize, just like thinking about it. I mean, just getting in the paint and him being there, sometimes you feel the difference. But I think, once again, being able to have wings who can really defend and who are experienced and got good size like we have is like Mo and Chief, if they, played the 3 and the 2, being able to have Rodney and Bays out there at the same time. You got 2 really good defenders on the wing, and both you guys excited. You got guys excited to do the job. So I think we got potential to be really good defensively.
How important is that, though, to have a better ball club to be able to kind of instill those defensive things and get that communication going as you guys try to meet?
It's really important, because a lot of teams who struggle defensively are young teams, because it's understanding of what other teams like to do, knowing players' tendencies around the league. I think when you have experience, you to the point where, like, when you play against a team, you know what the coach likes to do. Like, when we play against certain teams, I know what they're trying to do because of who their coach is. And I think a lot of those things play a part in being a good defensive team, being able to hear terms and know players and situations and stuff like that. That comes from experience and just being in the league. It gives you a different level of understanding. So I think the fact that we have more guys like that, we didn't just bring in a bunch of young guys and a bunch of talent, without the understanding. We got the talent and guys who have experience, so they understand. So things come along faster. And things just are better that way. So I think that's in our favor.
What have you seen from the big fella here, and what's that like now that you guys kind of have a base in the hole?
I think just from watching preseason, the weeks leading up to now, I'm showing up to the PF 9 o'clock. Usually we start at 9:30. It's not mandatory, but everybody's there. I'm showing up at 9:30, and I'm seeing guys coming into the weight room, guys in the treatment room, and like Nurk is on his way out the weight room. Like, he's done. I'm seeing him doing his work on the court. So it's just from me knowing Nurk so well and seeing what he's doing, I think it's just a level of urgency and seriousness. Because I've been through it, where I had a major injury in college and the game was taken away, and you want to get back. You want to feel like yourself. You want to be improved. You want to come back and help the team, all of these things. So the seriousness of, like, your preparation and you doing everything you need to do, it goes to a different level. And I can see that in his face. Like, I know me and him, we train with some of the same people in the off season, and I know he's trying to set stuff up to, like, make sure he's ready. So that's a great feeling, being his teammate and knowing that he's taking it serious and not looking at it like, oh, I'm gonna miss some time, so I'll get ready when I get ready. Just knowing that he's taking it serious and he's going to be ready when the time comes to help our team.
Is that a weird dynamic, though, knowing that, okay, you got to be so focused on what Hassan's doing and kind of implementing him in the process, but then you know that he's coming back?
Yeah.
What's that like?
I mean, we a team. So, like, it's not about, oh, well, you got to worry about this or worry about that. It's about what's going to be best for the team. And right now, what's best for Nurk is to make sure that he's taking care of his rehab and making sure his body is holding up and making sure that he's training how he's supposed to train so he's on track to come back. And with Hassan is making sure that he's doing what we need him to do right now, while Nurk is unavailable. And then once it's time for Nurk to come back, I'm sure he's going to want to come right back and no restriction and jump right back in it because I know him. But I think once you get there, you evaluate how things are going for the team, evaluate who matches up better with what lineups, and then, you go from there. But, it's going to be a lot of time between the time of his injury and when he comes back. So you want to make sure that you're careful with that. But you also do what's best for the team to, be at our best. Nurk? I mean, he loved to FaceTime me when it's daytime in Croatia and I'm knocked out. So he'd get mad at me if I don't answer a FaceTime when I'm asleep or something. But just every time I talked to him, it was like he was training. And that's not made up. But he was really trying to get going. I went on vacation in Mexico with some of my family, and Nurk was on vacation out there too, and we was both training. We was training, and he was already ahead of schedule and moving and on top of it, and that was way back, way back. So right then, I kind of started to get that feeling of he's really serious about this bounce back. So,
When was that?
what month was that, Nurk? What month? Bro, don't act like you're not listening. What? When did we go to Mexico? It was for Amina's birthday. When was that? June. See, that was soon. Yeah. Yeah. They just learned the hard way. They had to learn the hard way. I think when people look at Portland, they don't see it as the most attractive place. And a lot of the positives about being here, you can't see unless you come be a part of it. They come play here and it's raining, it's cold. They it's far away from everything. So that's all they can think of when they think am I going to sign up to come play here? But then when you get here and you see what type of work environment it is, you see the kind of people that we get to work with, including the media. Everybody that we work with is the bad is not so bad, but it's a great place to be. And you gotta come here to experience that and to see what our fans are like, and then to experience success. Every time our goal is to compete for a championship, and even when we don't do that, we don't have bad years. And it's people who go certain places and they experience bad stuff, from the organization to the fans to the media to losing and all that, and they skip out on it. So I think, when people don't come here, it has a lot to do with not knowing what they're missing out on. And people went different routes in the past, including those guys. And I think they see from the outside that it's, this is real. This is a real situation, and, they weren't going to miss out on it a second time. So I think all of them bring something to our team that we can use that can make us a better team. So we're excited to have them.
Two more questions. What are you seeing from Anthony in pickup games, and where are you seeing growth from him as a player, as a person?
I mean, I think me and everybody else, we seeing what we want to see. I mean, he's been scoring the ball. A lot of times when me and him on the same team, I'm playing off the ball and letting him play on the ball just so he can feel comfortable. I don't want him to feel like he doesn't, he won't have the opportunity to be himself. I know that Ant being able to be himself and Zach being able to be himself and be comfortable and not feel like they can't do this or don't do that, that's what's going to make our team, really our best, is the most that we can get out of each guy. And those two being super young talents on our team that's going to have roles, they're going to play minutes. You want to give them every opportunity to feel comfortable and to do the stuff that they can do to help our team. And I think both of them have looked great. In the preseason leading up to camp, I think they both look great. But Ant has looked like the player that I think everybody would want to see, just from scoring the ball to talking more. I mean, he didn't say a word last year. Probably said 2 words the whole season. So, I mean, now he actually, like, is talking and having something to say. Like, he'll engage on the court. So I think, like, his growth from last year to this year already is, like, it's encouraging for everybody, I'm sure.
You ever said that you need to be able to sign long term and know that that's something you won't have to think about for a long time, that you'll be important for a long time?
Can you say it again?
Signing a long-term deal. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it meant a lot because it's a commitment, and you know, a lot of people have something to say about what I should do. You know, Dame should do this, or why is he doing that? Because that's a commitment on my behalf, but it's a huge commitment from the team as well. So it's a great feeling knowing that, you know, we still have that commitment to each other, but also that I'm still able to push forward with, you know, my personal goals, which is to win the championship here, and to be the best player to ever play here. You know, it allows me that much more time to continue pursuing that and continue to be here. You know, so it's an honor for me.
Last 2 questions for Kurt. The Lakers and the Clippers make big splashes with their acquisitions during the offseason. Who do you see as the toughest competition for you, and how do you handicap the West?
I don't see it as one team. I think in the West, like, the past few years for us, people didn't look at us as a real threat, but like, we went up against teams and this past season was a perfect example. Like, we ended up being one of the Final 4 teams, and on paper, you never would have guessed that. So I don't think it's one team. I think it's just the struggle of being in the West. You know, I think you look at the Lakers and the Clippers and the Jazz and the Spurs. It's so many teams, the Rockets. You look at all these teams who are going to be good teams, and then you look at the teams who weren't in the playoffs last year. You think about Minnesota and New Orleans and Dallas and Phoenix and Sacramento. All these teams, like, they're going to be better. So I think the challenge for us is to worry about everybody, not just say, okay, who was the team to beat, because any of these teams could get you. So it's just a matter of us being consistent, you know, having our minds in the right place and being ready to protect that every night, because it's gonna be a brawl. Like, every team is gonna be a challenge, you know, from, like I said, the teams considered to be elite to the teams that people think aren't gonna be that good. Everybody's gonna be a challenge.
I know it's early, you're going around this group for about a month or so, but considering your time here in Portland, is there anything about this group that is unique or sets them apart from the other Brotherhood teams?
I think just off the top, and it's a short amount of time, I think as far as depth and, like, real ability, this might be the deepest team. My second year, we was pretty deep, but we were deep with, like, we were a great starting lineup, and then we had a lot of young talent on the bench that didn't have a lot of experience with, like, CJ, AC, with Thrill, like, who are great players now, but at the time were inexperienced. And then we had, like, D. Wright and Mo, Joe Freeland, who were, like, really good players, but they were all at the end of their careers. So we had, like, depth, but it was like we got these guys at the end of their careers who are giving us a lot, and then we got great talent who are, like, young and inexperienced. So I think now we got, like, that perfect balance of, like, we had the perfect age, we got experience. The young talent is like Zach and Ant, you know, people who've played. So I think this team is probably the deepest.
Okay, question for Dirk.
Where are you in the athletic basketball life of the Lakers?
what I am as a basketball standpoint, I have no idea because I'm doing what they're telling me to do, and I think so. As far as right now, it's more about movements and try to get the basketball movement, which is different. It's not a treadmill; you just keep running. So I think right now I just get used to back to the basketball stuff.
You're running on a treadmill now?
Yeah, for a while.
How hard has it been?
Hard.
How hard has it been not playing and trying to rehab and
I think I have a different approach. It was hard, but it was not definitely the struggle because I don't feel that way. Struggle is out there on the street, like when people surviving. I look at myself and I have pretty much everything in my life. Whatever I ask for, the God give it to me. So I think I work hard enough for that, and I think my injury is just one setback in my job. And for me, it was more like what I can do today to get better at what I have to get. And injury is part of the sport, so it's part of the job. And to me, I was glad, as look bad as it was, I kind of get away with the bone broken, which is going to heal back, and I'm going to be good.
Have you ever looked at the replay?
Oh yeah, I have to. Like I said, I think in that shot a million times in that year and previous years, like floater and like I said, when something has to, meant to be, just happens. I was more curious about when referee kicked me than just my injury. Yeah, I have some conversation with the league and I think referee. I'm just hoping. I don't want to believe he did it on purpose. So I don't know how to act or what my reaction should be. But I don't think there is a reason anybody should step over the injured person. That's.
So what are you doing now in your rehab? Are you shooting a lot? Are you working on your upper body? Can you do stuff with your legs? What are you doing?
I'm doing everything pretty much. Trying to get stronger on my leg, and I've been blessed for the last 6 months. I've been pain free, so that was a really good. Went really smooth. To be able, to take my rehab back home, and that was helpful. Really, clear my mind and came back ready to the even next step, which is like more aggressive towards basketball and basketball movements. But like I said, a lot of stuff you can't control in their life, and injury is one part. So I move on. I'm not looking back, and all I care how I can get back.
You are shooting and jumping and everything.
Yes.
How do you feel about the roster of the team?
I think it's pretty new roster. It's interesting. In NBA, you're building something, and next day, it kind of turn over. But I think it's really excitement for the fans and for the organizations. I think the hardest part will be to the players, just to figure out how they can play together. But it's definitely, I can't wait the season start to see how we're gonna play and what's rotation gonna look like for sure.
Do you look at the schedule at all and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be back for this game"?
Oh hell no. No.
Set a goal for yourself, or
No, I'm going to be back when I'm back, basically. I'm taking one day at a time, and, I think the last part is I'm thinking about that when I'm coming back. Like, when doctors decide it's a green light, I'm going to see if I'm ready and decide. But I really don't have a date or a month, or I just don't want to approach that way. I think it's better for me. But I think it's just looking great. Like, you have all the program by the doctors and the organization, and a lot of times they was there with me. So most of the time, when I was not here, they was with me out there, So I think that was just easy part, just listening what you telling you basically, and doing day by day your schedule, and when you finish that, you just have a day for yourself.
How did you deal with when you came traded for someone like that?
I mean, you know, basically through the internet, looking what's going on on the internet, but it's like, I think it's good for us. I think especially for the team, being out on the big, because I'm a big part of what we're doing, and not be able to play for the certain time. I think that's really helpful and kind of gives security to the team. And I hope it turned out everything well. Like, you never know what injuries does, but I hope we stay healthy, and when I'm back, I can just add everything what I already have. So, I never look anything bad way. So I'm really excited to Pau be here too. So it's just a great thing.
And Mario too.
Yeah, Mario is different. Mario.
How would you describe your guys' relationship?
I think we basically live, a couple of years building to building, knowing each other for a longer time, and it's going to be helpful. I'm going to try make him a little more social, but I think overall it's great. I tried to get him a year ago and didn't turn that way, and he tried to experience himself. I think he have an experience, and I told him before, if you come into the organization, what I'm not saying somebody didn't, but I think being here, have experience how this organization look like and what we're doing. Try to tell him what's going on here, and if he were ready to do that, I think he have a great chance. He been, I think, 5th pick in a draft. So I know him, and whole country and mine and his country know that he's been one of the best prospects since Dražen Petrovic. And I think he never have a really great chance to show what he can do. And it being in some teams who are not playing really to win or not that good enough yet, it's make it hard. And when you're in a bigger stage and you have a chance, I think that's the best thing for him. And I think he realized too, like being there in New York and Orlando, kind of, one day here, one day there, you playing, you're not playing. I think here the coach and teammates love him already. So I think it's going to be interesting for him how he's going to fit, and I think it's a really good role for him here.
How old were you when you got to know him?
I think 17. Yeah, something like that.
And you lived fairly close to the
Yep. That's what I said. I needed more social him, but he's a great guy. Just being in some years in the USA now, I think that's helped him. But before he came here, I think he was not really a social guy. That's what I meant. He was always in gym. Nobody want to hang out with him. So when you 24/7 in the arena, it doesn't help with the social life. But it's when somebody working that hard, what he try to accomplish. So I think for him, it's going to be, if he can stay healthy and play in 90 games, it's not easy. And I've been before injured, so I think my previous injury is worse than this one. Even this one looking worse, but feeling wise, what I've been through now, and like I said, it's hard, but like. There's a lot of hardest thing in a life than this, so I don't look in this negative any type. So I'm trying to approach day at a time and see where we get. As far as now, I'm exactly where they wanted me to be. So I think everything is good. Can you repeat that, please? So like I said, he's kind of weird about that. We not even talk about when he came, and I'm trying to help him settle in, like try to get the house and the chef and all the stuff. So I kind of help him that way. But I think for him, the basketball is gonna be easy part. Like when he get his chance and playing rotation minute, like normally 9 in, 9 out. I think that's when he's, I guess, most struggle is, because I think he'd never been a chance, I think, except last year in Orlando, or last half year in Orlando, to playing consistently minutes. I think that's when he's gonna really get better at it. Yep. Yep.
Okay, we'll wrap it up there.
Thank you.
Make one stop there. Okay, Anthony Tolliver's next. Questions for Anthony?
You've worked on extending your shooting range to like 3 or 4 feet beyond the arc. Do you feel very comfortable shooting from that distance? And how helpful is it to an offense to be able to have a guy capable of falling from 3 or 4 feet behind?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable doing so. It's something, I've definitely been working on for years, just to get comfortable, just extend the range out. I mean, the farther out that I'm a threat, the more space I give my teammates. So, and it allows me to shoot more if if I'm open. So yeah, I mean, it's just something that I thought was very important for my progression as a player, was to be able to shoot further and further out.
Is there a certain time when you realize that? Like, go back to a certain year or season where you thought,
Probably just a couple years ago, maybe 2. Maybe realizing it about 3 years ago. Finally started shooting some of them a couple years ago when I was with Detroit, and yeah, just I don't usually shoot the first one of the night from that far. I usually get a little rhythm going first, but yeah, just having that ability and just having being comfortable from that far out is, like I said, is the most important thing.
You've been on so many teams during your career. I'm wondering, in your short time here, if anything strikes you as special, unique, noteworthy of this group?
Well, the group is crazy talented. I don't think I've ever been on a team this talented overall, A. And then B, the organization is ran right. Just from top to bottom, every part of this organization is top notch. And I haven't even started the season yet, obviously, but I can already tell it's going to be a great year. It's just there's no choice but it not to be a great year. It just, like I said, with the players here, the organization, the training staff, the coaches, everything. It's just it's somewhere where I want to be. Yeah, well, a guy like me, I've been on a lot of different teams, and so change is something I'm very used to. A lot of guys that take a little while to conform and mesh, I think, are guys that maybe haven't been around a lot of new situations. So for me, it doesn't take very long to get comfortable. For me to learn my teammates and learn the new system and all that different stuff. And I don't think you'll see much of a difference whenever I'm in there, as far as things going off with it, without a hitch. I don't do too much. I'm not a player that's going to grab the ball and go one-on-one and move people out of the way or anything like that. So I think it's just something that a guy like me, I kind of can fit in pretty much anywhere. I remember going on the private plane. I remember that. It was different than the rest of the NBA. That might be about it. I don't know. I think I played about 2 minutes while I was here. I don't even remember any, get on the court at all. But yeah. Oh, I remember there was a snowstorm when I was here. Remember that. Went to a movie that was about a mile away, and it took about 3 hours to get there. So those are my memories from last time. So I think I'll be able to hopefully make better memories this time around. Oh, sorry. You're right. Yeah. I think everybody switched over to Delta. Good. Oh.
Just finally getting to start the season with this team. I've been learning the system a little bit, and just looking forward to contribute to another run. So.
How do you feel like you're better this year?
Better this year, just figuring out my role really on this team. We've been playing a lot of pickup like with everybody, so just trying to figure out my role, and I think it's pretty clear what I need to do. In order for me to get on the court. So, which is just rim run, block shots, contest at the rim, and do little things like set screens and just being energy guy, and playing defense. So. Oh, that's big time because I grew up watching him. I remember being in Haiti, just in front of my little TV, just watching Pau Gasol play. So for me to be here with him, I told him already. I was like, man, I want to work with you, throughout the year, just learn some things. And I've been asking him a lot of questions, just trying to pick his brain a little bit. That's the first time, I think, in my career that I've had somebody, pretty much playing the same position as me and who reached that level, of success in his career. So I'm looking forward to just picking his brains throughout the year and learning from him. So.
Anthony was joking about the last regular season game last year. They got the chicken. Do you guys ever talk about that?
It's come up a few times, especially after it happened during the playoffs and stuff like that. It was just amazing how everything just played out. Going into the playoffs and and. Not even that game only, like the game before, the Laker game where Mo hit that buzzer beater. Like the whole dynamic of things was just weird, man. And to get OKC and that playoff run, set up everything for that playoff run, and it was pretty awesome to be part of that. So. Anything specific? Just I started the summer with a minor shoulder injury, so I was rehabbing that the whole summer. And just trying to, stay sharp. Just been, doing a lot of skill work, and I came back here early and just been playing a lot of pickup and just been with the team and stuff like that. So that's it. Within the group, I feel a lot more comfortable than last year when I first came. Obviously, I'm starting to see what Coach Stotts expects out of his players, and even off the court. What they're looking for in players, as far as their character, like, just the whole thing. So I feel a lot more comfortable within the organization than last year. So that's it. All right.
Okay, question for Kent Bazemore. I think the last time you were in Portland, you said that your body feels as good as it's felt in a while.
Yep.
Is that still true, and how can you see?
My body feels great. Put in a ton of work. Probably 85%, 90% of my summer has been based solely on making sure I'm ready for the long haul. Portland's a team that plays deep into the year, and that was one of my focuses. You know, even before I found out I was coming here, it was one of my focuses being available every night. And every year I've been pretty close. Last season, I had a freak ankle injury that some stuff you just can't avoid. But as you learn more about your body and you get the right people around you that kind of help you understand those things, you take strides. And the past 3 weeks I've been in the gym every day playing, getting reps in the weight room, feeling good, flying around. And we go to the turf on Tuesday, Thursdays, and being explosive, and then go to the gym and play. I haven't missed reps, so body feels great. I'm ready to go. I think it's very deep, very dynamic, bunch of looks. I think, and even the pickup games have been, pretty competitive. Ant Simons is starting to come into his own. You got obviously Dame and CJ have been tearing it up. Mario with his energy, Skal, Hassan. I mean, the list goes on. We got a ton of guys that are ready to play. I think we're a very seasoned team, very experienced team. As far as guys that have been around for a little bit, obviously the team making it to the Western Conference Finals last year was huge, and I've been around the block a little bit. I've been to these conference finals. I've played in the playoffs a couple years in a row, so I understand the grind. I understand what it takes to get there on a nightly basis. So I think we're poised. We have a great team of leaders that do things the right way, and that's one thing that kind of blew me away about Dame and CJ. Was how vocal they are during the runs. When guys are over getting water, they're pulling guys aside and explaining things to them during dead balls, just making sure everyone's on the same page. And that's really, really good to see coming from two guys that, can kind of do their own thing. You know, they could easily just say, hey, we're gonna do our thing, but they're making sure everybody's on the same page. And I gained a lot of respect for those guys because of that. Well, yeah, I think so. Dame went to Weber State, CJ went to Lehigh, I went to Old Dominion. You know, we talk about 3 mid-majors that guys, you know, kind of stick around for a long time, and you go through those things where you come in as a young guy, you see the guys in front of you leave, so you go through, you know, coaching changes, or you go through players leaving, players transferring in, and you having to kind of work from the ground up to big success, and those things are kind of important. You know, when you win in college, you got the last guy on the bench, you got the video guys, you have the lady that fills up your water. You know, everyone's a part of it, and you know that's what breeds winning teams, is having people from the top to bottom, being a part of it, and you know, spending time, you know, with your teammates out of the day off the floor, just chatting, goes a long way, because you know, that's how you build a brotherhood. And when you got guys on the floor that you know you'll go to war for, you fight tooth and nail for, just really separates you at the end of the day.
And Ken, how much have you worked on that three-point shot this season? This team shoots a lot of threes.
Right.
Coach says you want to shoot more this
Right.
year. I mean, how about that?
My 3-point shot is in a great spot. You know, I've shot the three pretty well. Last year was probably my worst year over the past couple of years shooting three. But you know, when the ball is moving and you're in the right spots, you know, those kind of shots just fall for you. You know, the preparation has been there. I believe I am a great 3-point shooter in this league. I've been up around 40% before. So you know, it's just all about taking the right shots. And you know, last year was kind of a funky year, you know, as far as, you know, my body and, you know, mentally just not, you know, bringing it every night, or, you know, having a reason to, honestly, you know, with the kind of season we're having. So being locked in, being focused every night is kind of when I play my best basketball. And, you know, this year is looking to be really bright, especially being in the situation I am, you know, coming out here to Portland where guys, like I say, they get it. You know, that's just, you know, plain and simple that the guys out here, coaches, front office, you know, video room, everyone just gets it. Training staff, you know, they just all get it.
Is it exciting for you to be in a situation where the coach really encourages that three-point shot?
Yeah, I'm you know, licking my chops, man. This is really similar feel to when I played under Coach Budenholzer in Atlanta, my first couple of years there. You know, similar philosophies as far as, you know, playing together and just playing free. You know, Coach Stotts puts in his you know, his schemes, but he wants us to. He don't want us to be robots. He wants us to go out, do what we do, play together, share the ball, play with energy, flop it down the floor, play defense. You know, all the things that, you know, Coach Bud actually helped me do. You know, when I first went to Atlanta, I was, you know, a 12th guy, and, you know, I turned into a starter for a team, you know, played a ton of minutes in the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron James. So, I mean, just those first couple of years there have really set the stage for, you know, what's ahead of me now.
Do you see any other parallels between that 14-15 Hawks team you're talking about, won the 60 games, and then this team and this organization is obviously valuable for its culture and chemistry?
Yeah, I think the culture and the chemistry is probably the two things that stand out the most. And like I said, I mean, you can't win teams with a terrible locker room. You just can't, you know, because egos may get in the way. You know, guys may, you know, want the spotlight, and you know that's not the thing here. You know, Portland. You know, you watch Dame and CJ coexist. I mean, it's not easy, you know, for them to go out and especially their relationship that they have together. Like, you know, they talking to each other, laughing at each other. It's not like, you know, big ego. You know, those guys are just, you know, they make you feel welcome. And you know, when I first signed out here, I started a little group chat with them both, and just told them straight up, like, I'm not coming out here to, you know, be the man or any of that. You know, I know it's your guys' team, it's your two's team, and I know my role and I play it well. That's exactly what I said, and you know, and they respected that, and I respected what they built here. You know, playing with each other for the past 6-7 seasons. So I'm just here to help this franchise continue to move in the right direction, and ultimately get over the hump of the Western Conference Finals, and looking to play in late June.
How energizing is it for you to be on a team that says, like, hey, we're trying to win a championship?
Yeah, dude, that's like music to my ears. Like I say, obviously, I want to thank the Atlanta Hawks for giving me the opportunity and to further my career, my basketball career, and I started planted some really nice roots there, great friends. Got married while I was there, had my first child there. So Atlanta has a special place in my heart. But the teams change, and they went younger, and kind of found myself, on the outside looking in. They wanted to develop their young guys, and I was there to hope, kind of get them going in the right direction. And at the end of the day, I made a decision to try to find somewhere that wanted to win. And Portland was a spot, that I watched the team play all last playoffs, and I just, envisioned myself in a Trailblazers jersey, being that missing piece, that 3-and-D guy, the guy that, can, be a dog in some ways, and do the hard, do the dirty work for this team, and get this team over the edge.
Again, I see you tweeting sometimes about your son. I know he's just 3 months old, but how has becoming a dad changed you?
It's giving me great perspective on life, and and it's taught me not to take myself too serious. Last year I had like 12 technicals or something, like top 10 in the league, and I was just in a kind of a dark place. And this summer has been beyond great in so many ways. Obviously having my son. And then we had, I lost my mother-in-law on Mother's Day weekend. So, we'll talk about being in a little bit of a whirlwind, and trying to be there for my wife. And she just had her son. So you got, so many factors. And it just allowed me to kind of step aside and not focus on what I have going on personally, and, be a father for my children, for my son, and be a strong husband for my wife. And once I started focusing on that, just tremendous weight kind of came off my shoulders, and back smiling again, back being happy, and back being to myself.
And what's the plan? What's the podcast plan now that you're not doing the one?
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to slide into road tripping now?
All right, we get into the real stuff now, right? No, man. I think any events are going to continue to do it, which is I'm all for it, because we started a great thing last season, but I'm not sure, man. I think obviously this is an important year, not only for myself, but just for this team, and it takes a lot of commitment, and we'll see. I mean, it's up in the air. I know CJ does it. He's kind of grooving it right now, though. He's kind of he does his own thing with it, but for me, I got a son, and we're going to be gone, and I have all these responsibilities, so I like to try to keep my plate a little bit light. So we'll see, man. I mean, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it, to be honest. I'm just, trying to make it to June and bring that O'Brien Trophy to Portland. Yeah. I mean, not really. I mean, they're both great young talents. Two totally different styles. Trey is an amazing passer. Ant is so explosive, and he's starting to get comfortable in his own skin. You can see when he has the ball out there, he's, and especially in the second unit, being a great point guard, getting guys in the right spots, and making plays for other guys. But Ant changed his number for me, and he'll always have a soft spot in my heart for that. All right. Yep. All right, CJ.
It's a good question. I think when each season ends, you kind of just put it behind you. Obviously, you reflect on it throughout the summer. You watch film, you break down things, and then the next season comes, you kind of cleanse yourself and remove yourself from the last season. So I try to start each season fresh, fresh-minded. Obviously, the roster's changed, situations changed with our team. So I just try to start fresh and learn from what happened in the past and understand that there's a lot that's going to happen this season that didn't happen last year, and you just got to be prepared for it. Yeah, definitely. I think I've carved out a pretty nice role here in Oregon, not only on the team but in the community. And I think, signing long-term, Dame and I are the guys who will be here for the foreseeable future. So we have to continue to lead, understanding that we established a culture here. We established a way we go about things, and that's just not during the games. That's in practices. That's in the community. That's outside of the court. And I think that as the year goes on and as I continue to progress, I will voice my thoughts, my opinion, and continue to be a leader from that standpoint and not just be a leader by action. I think it starts with just leading by example. It's always been that way, for me. You show up early, you leave late, you do your job, you work hard. And I think that establishes a precedent. Kent was here some in the summer, and while I was here, we would work out. Silence your phones, please. I'm just kidding. We would work out. No, it's okay. We would work out before my kids' camp, and Kent was fresh off a plane from the East Coast, and he was like, "What time are you working out?" And I was like, "Well, my camp starts at 9, so I lift at 6:15. I'm on the court at 7:15. I take a shower and I go." And he came straight from the plane. He landed. I know he has a newborn, and it was like a test because I was going to work out at that time anyway, but I was just seeing if he was going to make it with the newborn. And he made it. He came the whole week, and I think that just kind of establishes like how we work. The guys who take most of the shots, the guys who make most of the money, are the guys who work the hardest. And historically, that's how Dame and I have been. And I think that establishes a culture to where you see, like, this is how they work. This is how we have to work. We have to match that. And I think it starts with that, and then continue to branch out and do other things that help build a sense of how we do things. He's happy. He's happy again. And it's good to see him that way. When the season first ended, obviously, he was in a different stage. He was in a different point, in the recovery phase. And I think as he's progressed and as he's got back to doing some things that he wasn't doing before, I think it makes him happier. Obviously, the season's starting. He's getting closer to being able to resume certain activities. And you can see the excitement on his face. You can see him back to cracking jokes, being bubbly. And I'm happy to see the progress he's made and happy to see where he's at. Yeah, well, if you don't know Whiteside, he's got a very, very engaging personality. He's very outgoing, so that's been something he's done from the start. Defensively, he brings us a different type of presence. His ability to block shots and kind of control the paint. He's strong around the basket. He can finish around the basket. And I think as the season progresses and as we get closer to playing and you guys being able to watch, you'll see some of the stuff we've already seen. But I think just right away, he's a presence around the rim and a guy who's going to alter shots. I hope so. It's hard to say. Obviously, the game keeps changing, but I think it'll definitely be something that we have to adjust to in terms of pocket passes and stuff like that. And we've been able to play some this summer, so kind of figuring out where he likes the ball, how high to throw the lob, all that stuff, because you have to trial and error and kind of figure it out that way. But I think we've done a good job of communicating. That's the biggest thing. Continue to communicate, continue to talk, and then figure out how to go from there. I like him. He works hard. He does things the right way. He's a good teammate, and he comes from a similar background in terms of how he got to this point. Small school, he goes undrafted. Early on in his career, he was known as a guy who had like a lot of the celebrations, right, for the Warriors. Being a good guy got him traded to a situation where he could play and show what he was capable of. He turned that into, I don't know, 70, a lot of money. He turned that into a lot of money and has still been able to sustain a certain level of play throughout. That kind of shows you his integrity, shows you his work ethic, it shows you how he approaches the game. So I think he's a good player, one that's really going to help us. We're going to enjoy watching him, and fans will enjoy the passion and the energy he's going to bring every night.
You're not yet been an all-star. Is that a goal?
It's definitely a goal, something I want to accomplish, but it doesn't sway me as it did in the past, just because of where I'm at now and my understanding of the game. You can have a great year and not be an all-star. Doesn't mean that you didn't play well. And I think a lot of it now is circumstantial situation. How good is your team? So for me, the biggest thing is how to play well and help my team win. If I do those things, and it should happen, and if it doesn't, I'll continue to live my life. I think trial and error. Maybe they thought the grass was greener somewhere else, and it wasn't. And now they realize that they either had a good situation that they could have taken advantage of, or heard about the situation and watched from afar and admired and thought, I could fit in well there. So I think it's probably a combination of those things. And I think after you go through something, after you experience something, you're more likely to want change. And I think they seen that. Yeah, I agree. I think everybody's in different stage of their life at this point. You know how to get ready for a season. You know how to mentally and physically get your body ready. And time is precious. Pal just got married. Kent has a baby. So you have to really take advantage of your time in the summer to be with your loved ones, be with your family, work on your game, and then bring that to the team. And we have enough stuff in September. We have enough time in preseason to kind of work on some stuff. And it's hard to really tighten up in that type of setting. That's more so the bonding in the building, because you're not playing real games anyway. So I think October will be really good for us to start the preseason and have referees out there, because that's kind of when you get into game mode, because it's an actual game setting. Oh, yeah, I seen it. I mean, everybody has the right to their own opinion. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. You respect everybody's opinion. You don't have to agree with it. If I would have been ranked 50 or 60, like, my mood is the same, how I work is the same, how I approach the game is the same. It's nice to be recognized and to be honored in that way, but a man or woman's opinion doesn't sway me. It doesn't change my mentality. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me sad. The people I care about, their opinions matter. My opinion matters, and that's how I've always been. But I mean, they have a right to their own opinion, and that's just how I feel. It'll be tough in the West, but it's always tough. The West is always tough. A lot of teams are good. A lot of teams are deep. Obviously, injuries will play a factor in what happens this year. That's always a factor as the playoffs get closer and closer. It's the team that's the healthiest has the best chance, and hopefully we can be one of those teams that's healthy. We'll all go through that learning phase. All the teams that have new pieces will go through a learning phase where they're figuring each other out, but it'll come down to health and who's available and how you execute. I think you just gain a different level of experience. I think the confidence is always there, but if you look at who played in the Western Conference Finals last year, our roster is a little different. We've got a lot of new pieces, so for us personally, the guys who did play, it gives you a different type of experience. You know what it takes to win in that setting, and you know what it takes to not succeed because we didn't succeed. So I think that'll be good for us going forward.
Thanks, CJ.
Yeah.